Hi, everyone, and welcome to Dates, Weights, and Protein Shakes. I'm Leanne, and I'm a weightlifter.
I'm James, and I'm a powerlifter.
And this is the podcast where we talk shit about lifting, relationships, life, and everything in between. So, James, we've had a couple of story times with Leanne over the past couple of months because I've been competing lots. You had a bit of a break as you adjusted to your new coaching, your kind of new gym and everything around that. But
I just needed a break.
Yeah. You did need a break. You had big couple
Got
of
nothing
years.
left.
I think you'd been saturated by the kind of competing, and it was just getting a bit much, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
it was constant like dieting and trying to keep on track and training and intensity.
Yeah.
But you did another competition after a couple months off, which was very nice. How did it go?
Well, good section. Moving on.
Well.
I had fun. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Is I'd got really serious about competing really quickly.
Yeah.
And I'd been very successful at competing, which is obviously great.
Yeah.
But the trajectory of anything in life is not just upwards.
Nope.
And I placed too much pressure on myself. No one else was placing pressure on me, only me. And that led to me not enjoying my last competition and not performing anywhere near the standard I'd hoped to.
Yeah.
So really, the goal for my competition in June was to have fun, actually enjoy competing, and build a total that was representative of my ability. And I think I did all those things.
Absolutely.
So I was really pleased with my performance. There were lots of things to build on, lots of learnings, and lots of goals to set for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Before I step on the platform again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it went well.
Yeah, and I think this was a bit of a kind of reset for you because, as I said, you've got a new coach. You knew you were kind of coming into a new situation with a new job as well, which is a big change in your life from how everything was going before. So you have to kind of create that baseline, and you're also, this is your second competition within IPF, which is a new federation. It's kind of the one to be in terms of really benchmarking yourself against the best of the best in the UK and across the world. So it was all new things, and this is kind of your chance to reset that baseline, make sure you're kind of setting up a good tone, I think, going into this year.
And I think it's maybe my 9th, potentially 10th. I think it's 9th competition ever.
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to compete, and I'd got my rhythm of competing. I had got into a rhythm of how I competed when I was at Lakeside and with Lizzie, and that worked really well. Had lots of success there. Or when it's just you coming and handling me, it's learning how to compete and how Craig likes to do it.
Yeah.
Which is always going to be different. So there's a learning there as well. But I think really couldn't have asked for a better day.
No.
Which is the best.
Yeah, what else would you ask for? Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll go into the specifics. You can run through the day and kind of how everything went. But I think for me, it was just such an amazing kind of thing to see how you were throughout the day. And I think your mindset has completely shifted from how it was before. And I think you've just, in terms of kind of numbers and lifts and stuff, that was almost secondary to how you actually approached the day, how you acted on the day, and kind of how, I think it was just the entire mindset for you was completely different, and that was really cool.
And I think I said the last time I competed, I actually felt a bit embarrassed about the way, and there were lots of other factors we won't get, but I didn't feel like I gave a good representation of myself as an athlete. Whereas this time I was like, that is how I conduct myself, how I want to be.
Yeah.
And, I really enjoyed the day. There was a point between squat and bench where we were all sat outside Craig's van with, 2 of the other lifters and their partners. And we were just kind of chatting and enjoying competing.
Yeah.
Which I never would have dreamt of last time.
Yeah.
And I've always said one of my favourite things about lifting is, as much as I take the piss of people in the gym, like meeting people, building relationships, building friendships. So that was such a positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was at Redbeard Barbell Club. Once again, I am in a morning flight. If anyone is listening to this, can you just put the 83s in the afternoon ones?
You're lucky, though.
I just want to like, we got up at what, like 5:40? I got up at maybe 5:45.
Yes,
we got there for 7 for weigh-in.
Yeah.
Weigh-in, I was like 82.4 or something.
Yeah.
And I won't go into it because I don't know enough about it, but we taken a very different approach to my weight beforehand.
Yeah.
So I hadn't been cutting for 6 weeks. We did a lot more around the fluids and bringing it in that way. So I actually felt good and fueled for the day.
Yeah.
And we just kind of weighed in, said hello to the people, went back to the car, waited for Craig, and my hip mobility is really important to me at the moment. So I was just doing a little hip mobility routine. And Craig turns up in his van to find me rolling my ass this time with a video, a follow along Craigy Strength hip mobility routine video, just sipping an iced coffee.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Have a nice day.
And Craig's like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So that was how we started the day. Warmed up for squats.
Yeah.
And I'd gone to Craigy Strength 10 days or so before the competition to do some kind of 90% lift, see how I was feeling, how I was moving, and kind of set where the openers were.
Yeah.
Craig and I had said, let's do 185. Last competition, I did 192. No, I did 190. So a little bit lower. I think that was a theme through the day, just opening a bit lower. And then as I'm warming up, I'm feeling great. And Craig goes, cool. You put 180 in when you weighed in, right? I was like, yeah, I put in 180. Because Craig said, let's just do everything 5 lower and we can bring it up to what we want. He's like, cool, you're opening at 180. I'm like, fucking what? He's like, yeah, 180. I'm like, but we said 185. And in my head, I'm like catastrophizing, like, well, if I do 180, if I want to get up above 200, I'm going to have to do like a 10 or 12 kilo jump to get above 200. I don't know, Craig, really think we should do 185. No, we'll do 180. And just the man broached his knob.
Absolutely.
And he was basically like, you can do 180 with your eyes closed. You can do a 180 triple.
Yeah.
Go out there. If anything goes weird, you'll get 180 and then we can move on and we can build the total. Okay, fine. So I go out onto the platform for my first lift. I come down and I just whack the bar off the squat stand.
Yeah. So the last time you competed, when you did your bench, you missed your bench because you caught the bar, the rack on the way
hooks,
up.
Yeah.
And you're basically pushing against.
Yeah. On my first one.
Something could move. Yeah. You have something with that rack.
Yeah, I don't like that rack.
It likes to bother you.
It does bother me.
Yeah.
But the weight was so light and I was feeling so good from the warm-up.
You're fine.
Get out of my way.
Craig knows what he's doing.
and I was like, yeah,
he's
fair
a
enough.
smart man.
Fair enough. So I go, toddle into the back room, and I sit down. Very hot day. It's like 28, 30 degrees.
Yeah.
Get my John Lewis handheld fan out. This is... We're
Top
bringing
tip.
back the top tip. John Lewis, for £12, does these little handheld USB rechargeable fans.
They're great.
If you're doing a summer competition, get one. If you're training in the summer, get one. There's nothing better than when you're feeling really hot and sweaty, you can just get out your John Lewis fan. Just sit,
it's good.
just cooling myself down. And Craig goes, cool, put your next number in. I'm like, okay. So I'm not telling you what it is. So this is something that was different that I really like and want to do going forward. It's just not knowing what my next attempt is.
Yeah.
Because I think there's certain numbers in your head that you can start beating yourself up about.
100%.
You said it last week in your comp review. There's like, it's just a weight that you've got to move at the end of the day. So when I go out to do the next lift, I've got my wired Apple headphones in that block out no noise. And I'm like, I really don't want to know what the number is. We'll flash up the picture now. Before every lift, I stood there with my hands over my ears.
Yeah, James literally, if you're not watching on the video, he was like a child that was having a tantrum and didn't want to listen to their parents, like just hands over ears. I mean, but it worked, right?
It worked. It was so good. Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where if you're not committed to it, it's a bit silly. And if you don't understand it, it looks really contrived.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the best thing I could have done in that situation.
And this is something, so when we've spoken a lot about a sports psychologist that we've spoken to before, Ian.
Psychology
Ian. And this is one of the things I remember he said to me a couple of years ago, which was when I was really new to competing, I was really like worried about asking people for help with things. So like getting my weight sorted or I don't know, anything. I just didn't want to bother people. Mm-hmm. And he was just, I remember he said something like, you know, why are you feeling that way? This is your day. You go out there and you ask for what you need, because otherwise you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
So
you've put in so many hours and so much effort to come to that day. And it's the same kind of thing we said about when we spoke to Scottish weightlifting, is people have worked really hard for this day. They need it to be run well and the right things to be in place. Mm-hmm. And if it's going to make me perform better to put my hands over the ears, over my ears, and look a bit silly,
I can do it.
I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
So
feel the cringe and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like that is, and I feel like that is something that I've really tried to embrace in life over the past couple of years is, you know, things are going to be cringy, things are going to feel awkward, but if they make your life better, fucking do it anyway. Like, people will see that and think, oh, that's weird. And then they won't have a thought about it again. Or they might tell their friends and it's a funny story, but like, it doesn't matter.
If we skip forward like 4 hours, no one thought it was weird.
No.
People came over to me and oh man, you're like, I love the way you approach the lifts.
Yeah.
So you're taking it so seriously, and you're just in the zone. I was like, oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
No one thinks it's weird.
No.
Only you think it's weird. So I was doing that, and I think this is one of the things I really liked about Craig and worked well for me is he uses his presence and his proximity to make you feel how you need to feel in that moment. Mm-hmm. So before you lift, you have the back room where all the warm-up is happening. You have the platform here, and there's normally like a little desk here, and then a small entrance that you walk through to go onto the platform. Normally people just kind of line up there for their lift and stand there feeling nervous. So I'm standing there with my hands over my ears, waiting for my lift. Craig has placed himself in front of me and is basically blocking me from going out until it's my time, not letting me see what's on the bar, but also using his presence to kind of navigate me to where I need to be. So we'd be maybe a couple of steps back from that, 2 or 3 minutes before I lift. And then as I get closer to lifting, he's moving me forward and just moving people out of the way to get me to where I need to be.
Yeah. And
almost like protecting me.
Yeah. He's saying, you're my lifter. I'm going to make sure that I'm taking care of you. I think like that and that's what I loved watching you two together, because he properly took care of you. And he was like, this is my person. I'm in control of what he's doing. You don't need to be the person. You need to just do what you need to do, and I will take care of everything else. Yeah. And I love that. And I think you guys created such magic on the platform together.
And someone said to us, they're like, I love your relationship. You can tell like you guys have been working together for a while. Craigy said, I was like, first time we've ever done this. But it was just, I think,
match made in heaven.
And I don't think that would work for you, mate, necessarily. And it
don't know. I haven't experienced it.
Yeah, but other people might not be like, no, let me look after myself. I need to be independent. It may not work for everyone, but he knew that was going to work for me. And I basically, after the whole 180 thing, I just went, I'm just going to have to trust whatever he does implicitly, and that he knows better than me.
Yeah.
That's why he's my coach, because I want him to give his guidance. And I think that was one of the huge things is with Lizzie, we had a nice kind of backwards and forwards. We'd decide together. Whereas Craig was like, no, this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think after my last competition, that's actually what I needed. Just someone to tell me what to do.
Absolutely.
I've got my hands over my ears.
Yeah.
I go out, I do my next squat, and it moves so nicely.
Yep. Lovely.
So I'm like, right, we'll repeat this. We go out, do another number, and I nail it. And it's 197.5, which is actually exactly the same squat I got 3 months ago. But I really want to put the 2 squats up. So can we do that now?
Yeah.
I have never seen 2 more different squats in my life. And this is something we talked about maybe a couple of months ago now, is sometimes having that technical PB
Yep.
and moving the bar well is more important than the weight, or just as important as the weight.
Yeah, because the technical PB, if you were moving things better, then in the long run, you are eventually going to get bigger numbers than you would have otherwise.
Yeah, like there's loads of depth.
Mm-hmm.
The back, I'm losing the back a little bit, but there's nowhere near the same level of grind.
No.
Which means I've got more in my locker for when it comes to bench and deadlifts later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So even though it's the same number, and on the sheet it looks like I've done the same, I've improved massively.
Yeah.
So we move forward to bench, and I'm pulling myself a little bit about bench because I bombed out last time at 135. And I've changed a lot about my bench, like the hand width, the setup, lots of things. So we go in at 125. I've done 125 in the gym with like a 4-second pause because I was like, I am going to get this. And the goal was we'd open at 120. I'd put 125 down. We'd maybe do 130 opener. But we said, let's do 125. And I went out, I talked to the handout person. Because last time I was expecting you or Lizzie to give me a handout. I didn't realize everyone got the same person, which is like the F thing. I was really, really clear with what I wanted. I set up with basically my ass dangling off the bench. I was so far from the rack. And just, it moved like an RP7. It was so easy.
So easy, yeah.
So I go back, get my fan out, Craig puts a number in. I don't know what it is. We repeat the whole shebang of hands over the ears, Craig standing in front of me. I do the next one. It moves like an RP8. It's so easy. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to get a big bench. And Craig comes out and he goes, I think you've got more than this, but I want you to get this. It's really important that you get this. And if it's easy, you can come to Craigy Strength and you can do something more in a couple of weeks. I was like, okay. He's like, but you're going to have to fight it. When you take it down, it's going to feel heavy. Yeah. Because he's had to do big jumps because he knows I can do more, but we want it to open so low. It's going to be heavy. You need to fight it. Okay.
I love that he can put you in that mindset though, because he's both saying you can do this, but it's not so easy that you can just it's going to be light, so you don't have to try. But he's doing that without telling you the number, which is just so awesome. Like the ability, I think his ability to communicate and to kind of get you into the right mindset is something that's really, really good.
And I think he's just worked out how my brain works.
Yeah.
So we're back. We're in the corridor of uncertainty. I've got my hands over my ears, and I'll do this to Leanne for the viewers.
Okay. But
I'll describe it as well. So he comes over to me, and he put your hands over your ears.
Are we gonna kiss?
And he removes my hands, and replaces them with his, and he gets right up in my grill and just kind of. And just a different mug. He removes the hands a little bit.
Why my hands are hurt?
And he looks me dead in the eyes, and he goes, "It's gonna be a fight." But this is the thing, it's quite funny. But in this moment, we are super serious and we are just dialed in. He's like, it's not going to be easy. You've got it, but you're going to fucking fight it, okay? Bring it down, control it, fight it, and lock it out and hold it there until they take it off you. And I'm just like,
wow.
It was so visceral, quite primal and intense. And it's just, it's this thing I was saying about you have, because I'd just gone, right, I have to trust this man.
Yeah.
It was like, it was not weird. It was like, yes, that is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just super dialed in for this lift. There's no doubt in my mind I'm going to get it. I go out, I repeat the cues that I want for the handout again, right up at the end. I've never arched so much in my life. I take it out and I'm like, this is quite heavy. But not in like, oh, that's heavy. But, oh, yeah, this is heavier way.
Yeah.
And I just bring it down, wait for the press, and just pop it up.
Yeah.
And it was like...
They're so clean.
Yeah, it was so... And like, I was prepared to fight it. Yeah. And I'm not saying like it was easy. Yeah. I did fight it. I did grind it out. But it wasn't like, Jesus Christ, that was so heavy. But it was because, like we said for your snatch, I'd set it up and I was ready for that fight. I wasn't thinking, shit, this is really heavy. I was ready to deal with the heavy weight. I just hit all those kind of glutes on, back tight, lats in, pause, drive out.
Yeah.
That I'd executed it with such good technique, it felt easy.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I need to go and do more than this. Yeah. So I've run off the platform. I go, how much was that? And Craig was like, oh, that was 140. I was like, what's it fuck? It felt like, 135.
Yeah.
So that was a really big takeaway. I'd done a 5 kilo more than I failed last time. And I was walking away going, there's more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we've done that. We've had a good day. We've got through benches. Time for the deadlifts. And we've just kind of been chilling.
Yeah.
And the group before have rattled through deadlifts. So we warmed up from like 0 to 205 or something in about 15 minutes. And we ran into, we power walked.
Yeah.
Not running. Into the gym. Yeah. And all the other bars were at like 180, 200. I'm like, shit. So Craig just goes, move out of the way. Athlete needs to warm up. Which I loved. And everyone's like, oh, yes, I do need to move out of the way. And like you said, you've got to advocate for yourself again.
Yeah.
And we're just warming up, doing some deadlifts. And it's quite hot. It's quite sweaty. And Craig goes, pop your top off. Not in a weird way. So I've taken off my Craigy Strength. Don't talk to me top. Boobies out. Do my last couple of deadlifts. Oh, James, bars loaded.
Off he pops.
This man goes, you need the top on. I was like, I can't. And I just, all the blood drains from my face. And I go, Liam.
This man, right, I don't know what's going on. I'm recording, ready for James to come on and do his first deadlift, all excited. All I hear is, Liam! Oh my God, what's happening? It's like, top, get my top. So his top, he gave me his top, his sweaty top, and it was so disgusting that I almost just went into the car park and put it in the car. I was like, nah, I'll just leave it here because I don't know when he's going to go on. Thank fuck I did it, because it's like a couple of minute walk away, and you have literally a minute to go on and do your deadlift. So quickly, like, that your top comes out, I try and get it inside, I chuck it at you, I step on my phone in the process, and I remember, like, you were panicking, I was panicking, and then Craig was very calmly
just dressing me.
Just calm down. I'm just gonna, over your head. Everyone calm down. And I was like, oh, that man. Knows what he's doing.
But this is going back to the 180 squat thing.
Yeah.
This is why you open really light. Because I know I could do that deadlift pretty academically. Yeah. But we didn't quite put on my top properly. So like the neck is like out here and it's trapped behind like the top of my singlet.
You're disheveled at this point.
So none of the pictures look good, which I'm annoyed about. And I go out and I just do the ugliest opening deadlift. It's horrendous. But that's why you open.
Yeah, you did it though.
Yeah, right? I did it, got it done. I went back with my fan, calmed down. Craig puts in my next attempt. I go out. I actually set up properly. Yeah. And I do a much nicer second deadlift.
Yes, much better.
And then I go back and I'm sitting down and Craig comes out and he goes, all right. I can either put in something that I think you will get, or we can go for the win and we can put in something that might be, on the edge. And I'm like, okay. I was like, what happens if we go for the other one? He goes, you come a second or third. And I'm like, I'd be happy with second or third. It's like a field of 8 or something. Yeah. I was like, and we go with the other one, I'd win. He's like, you'd probably win. And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking, I've had a really good day.
Yeah.
I've got all of my lifts. I'm really happy with them. Even if I don't get this last deadlift, I'm going to have had a great day.
Yeah.
We might as well come and try and win. So go for the big one. He goes, okay. I still have no idea what it is. So we go through the routine. The nice bit about the standing behind Craig routine is he just kind of like pops the chalk behind his back for me to chalk up my hands beforehand. I've got the headphones in. He's like, right, go out, push with your toe. Like he's doing the hands on the ears. Push with your toes. Do not lean back and just push. Push the ground away. Don't lean back. So that's what I'm thinking about. I go out, do my breathing thing, take the bar, and I just push. And the bar breaks the floor and it comes up to my knees. Yeah. And I've had it before where the bar stopped at the knees and I felt like I could
keep
going.
Yeah.
It's just like pulling a brick wall.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And I'm like pulling a little bit. I just put it down.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, that was a lot. Like,
so I knew how much this was because Craig had come up to me and asked for my opinion.
Which I love, by the way.
Yeah.
Because he knows that you know me.
Yeah. Because I've had
better than I do it sometimes.
And I think I know how you'll react to certain things as well.
Yeah.
So we'd kind of chatted and I was like, if he's happy, go for the big one. So I knew how much was on that bar. And I cannot believe you got as far as you did. Like, that was incredible. I think that was an achievement in itself.
So I go and shake all the judges' hands, as I like to do. And I go outside, and I've taken my top off again. Craig goes out and goes, how much was that? And he goes, 242? I almost fell over, and I was like, it fucking felt like it. And bear in mind, I would have been happy with like 235.
Oh, yeah.
Even breaking the floor with 242, that's a massive win for me.
I know. And that's like, I think I knew just because I know you and your deadlifts so well that was like, I knew there was no way you were going to get it.
Yeah.
But the fact, like, I thought you'd just start to pull and then you would be able to stand tall.
It wasn't even like I'd massively lost the hips. If you actually watch the video, I lose the bar forward, yeah, because I'm pushing with my toes.
I thought you fainted, so I was like,
so I was really happy with that.
Yeah,
and it turned out that me going for that made another guy put their deadlift up, and they didn't get that. So I actually came second, and then the guy who won is like on the Greek national team.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, fucking hell, fair enough.
Very happy.
So I came away with a 560 total.
Yeah.
Which is like 22 more than I did at the AWPC Worlds last year.
Yeah.
So really, really happy with that. And I think, my second deadlift was 222. And I could have got, if we'd gone for something sensible, there's actually a lot more in that total.
Yeah.
And more in the bench. And I think there's more in the squat. But we won't know because I'm taking 6 months off going anywhere near maxes. And I'm going to do a competition in December and hopefully we'll add to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as I said, a brilliant day. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about it. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Leanne, for looking after me.
Always be looking after you.
And look forward to hearing about another one of your silly competitions soon.
Yeah, I've not actually booked one yet, but I think I'm going to do one maybe September, October time. So will be another comp review then. But until then, we'll just be sharing
silly stories.
Yeah, fun, silly stories. Because we're in our silly era as well.
Third era is silly era.
Yeah, third era is silly era. We're just having goofy times at Pure Gym. Going to cause some mischief maybe. And just,
maybe a little bit rambunctious.
I'm gonna be rambunctious at Pure Gym.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of Dates, Weights and Protein Shakes. As always, we hope you did enjoy. And I hope you're buckled in for the third era. I'm really excited about it. If it carries on this way, we're going to be having a great time.
Yeah, we're here for a good time. And a long time. Mainly a good time.
Speaking of a long time, tune in 2 weeks for our next episode. if you want to reach out in the meantime, you can get us on Instagram. Our handle is Dates, Weights and Protein Shakes.
We're also on TikTok at Dates, Weights, Protein Shake. And you can also find us on our website at datesweightsandproteinshakes.com, where you can find all of our episodes and also a form in case you want to give us any feedback or submit any ideas or thoughts on the show.
And if you do enjoy the podcast, please remember to subscribe and turn notifications on. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, SoundCloud, TuneIn, and all good places you can find your poddies.
Also, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because then you get alerted when we put out our YouTube videos, which is now every time we release a podcast.
Yeah, and I would recommend watching on YouTube, not least because you get to see Leanne's face, which is nice. And maybe next episode, we might bring along our dog, Paddy, which is a great incentive. But until next time, may all your squats be deep
and your spines be neutral.